Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 7 Days of Summer Lost Alpha. In the last episode, we did a lot of hard labor, we really felt the work of the pioneer. I'd say we definitely put that spirit of labor in semyon. Is he less of a chud? I'm not sure. That still remains to be seen. Definitely remains to be seen. I don't want him to keep doing the same bullshit that he keeps doing with Slavya. Listen, the definition of insanity is doing the same shit over and over and over and over again and expecting crap to change. And I don't want that. But if I can just keep him and Slavya together forever, stay together, you motherfuckers. If I can just do that, I will be golden. And I think he will learn on his own. But maybe this is the path, after all. Maybe the entire point of this route, or at least this, this route, is for him to learn to stop being such a bastard. You might also be wondering why I'm dressed like a fucking Sherpa today. No, you're not. You do not wonder that. So let's get straight into it. Slavya's in the admin building, like we told her to be last time. Like we told her we would be last time. And so we will definitely go to the admin building, which was not there in the original game, by the way. The more I get into this game, the more the map seems to change. Former good boy, former friend, loved lover, former dreamer, former. I was sitting on a bench near the... I was sitting on a beach near the administration building, and most of all, I wanted to just get up and leave. I'm serious. My instinct told me almost in plain text that if I stayed here a little longer, I would pass the point of no return. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that is exactly what I'm trying to do, Semyon, if you consider that. After which everything will be different. One day I decided myself that I do not need people, that a smile is needed only in order to not go crazy, and that everyone is lying. The story is short but explainable and understandable, nothing frightening. And people were photoshopped alive in such a way that sometimes it was painful to look at their beauty. I reacted to them like they're pieces of furniture with approximately the same interactivity. But you must learn! You must learn. Sitting? Wow, how could you tell? Shaman, I guess. Shaman? I nodded. Now that I have the time to understand myself and put my thoughts in order, I managed to return to the already familiar, ironic attitude to everything. You better not. You better not, Semyon, I am warning you. Including their own spiritual torments. I am altering the plan, Semyon. Pray I do not alter it further. Events lined up in a single sequence from acquaintance at the gate to yesterday's unintentional hugs. I'm sorry, I use you like this all the time. No, please don't say that. The more you put it in his head, the more he's gonna internalize it. Do not give that boy an inch, because he'll take a mile. The girl smiled shyly. But according to the rules, it's necessary to be on duty together, and I have no one else to ask. Is that so? What about the others? Miku's stuck at the club. She has a concert tomorrow. She needs to sort out all the details. I almost don't touch her. For the best. Lena draws a wall newspaper. Holy Mao. Alisa's with her. She doesn't participate in her parents' concerts. She's preparing for a gala performance. She's silent about the details, but she says that it will be bangers. It seems that all these characters are way more fleshed out in this game than in the original. Why do I look so Peruvian? And Uliana? And I don't trust her. For good reason. So many good reasons. The girl answered with depressing honesty. I have the Slavoj Žižek stim. I swear to God. Also, who the fuck are they? Are those the developers? Is that Chairman Gonzalo? Who the hell are we looking at over there? Anyway, yeah, like I was saying, I have the Slavoj Žižek stim of constantly rubbing my nose. With her magic bundle, she first opened the administration building and turned the door to the office of the head of the camp. Listen, man, I'm gonna stop pointing out when we see new scenery because I think you get it. And I finally ended up in the Holy of Holies. An office is like an office. It seems that they're all made according to the same patterns. Oh, well, sorry, General Secretary. I didn't realize I was in Comrade Brezhnev's... didn't realize I was in Comrade Gorbachev's personal office. Dominating the room, of course, is a huge table with a sheet of plexiglass in the entire tabletop, under which various newspaper clippings, shift plans, and 5-minute notes, as a rule, the most stable long livers. On the right hand, a small recess sits a phone. I picked it up. Seems to be working. It's internal. Slavya understood my thoughts correctly. We wanted to connect to an external phone, but something didn't work. I don't know about the whole story. So you can only call among the camp. How convenient. Such a useful device. Where can you call? Slavya wrinkled her forehead funny, remembering. To the infirmary, to the boat station, to my warehouse, and it seems to the canteen. Looks like that. Yeah, the abyss of usefulness. I snorted, regretfully giving up on the idea of calling the president of the world and demanding that I be returned to my homeland. President of the world... Listen, this is as close as you're going to get to president of the world, trust me. Although regarding my current year, the issue of returning became rather ticklish. After moving from the center of St. Petersburg, I lived in a 16-floor building which was built in the early 2000s. You hear that? That's the sound of a putinka. We do not like putinkas. That is, as you might guess, at this time my skyscraper had not even been built yet. There was nowhere to return. Unless to see relatives? In St. Petersburg? Oh yes, it's still called Leningrad here. Uh-huh. The next item worthy of attention was a huge modular wardrobe, to which Slavya immediately went, Semyon, not for service, but for friendship. Yes. There was a stool next to the closet, and judging by Slavya's look, it was necessary to get to the top. Sighing, I perched on the stool. Is what's gonna happen, is what I think is gonna happen. I wish it was the other way around. Fuck you, Semyon. She'd be like that on the stool and you can see everything, and you're like support her, and she loses her balance. I just need everybody to reel it in. Quiet coyotes. Quiet coyotes. I need you all to reel it in. And you catch her, and in flight you can even touch different places. Anyway, in the end, winner is awarded a kiss from the rescued blonde. A classic of the genre. When is this... When... At what point in the gameplay do we get to kill the voice? Where does that happen? Can I just skip to that part? Erotic fantasies. Why not yourself? I shared the thoughts of the inner voice. You yourself said in the morning that you can't lift a boy. I opened the doors, and for a good couple of minutes I fought with the photographs, albums, bags, Christmas tree, tinsel, and other paraphernalia of the life of a pioneer camp that fell from there. They wouldn't really be called Christmas trees in here anyway. They'd be called New Year's trees, because they didn't like Christmas. I'd be happy to. Laughter came from below. Who doesn't like being caught in arms? But, unfortunately, I can't get there. You'd have to lift me up. Don't go on, I get it. You don't trust me with that much yet. Semyon. That's it. I'm silent. Yes, please be. Just give a minute. Give the poor fucking girl a minute. I almost personally imagine how the girl sits on my shoulders. I unbend. We're trying to catch the balance, and underneath the palm of the girl's tender skin, I shook my head, driving away the obsession. Focus! Focus! Incredibly attractive obsession, not gonna lie. But a distraction nonetheless. So why am I here? I asked, finally having won a decisive victory on both fronts, in a war with the contents of the closet, and in the difficult battle with my own libido. Look to the right, please. There should be a stack of blank albums. Give them to me. And next to them is a box with the Roman numeral 2 on it. See? A few minutes later, we sat on the floor surrounded by albums and pictures. Photos are taken by Uncle Borya. He has a trained eye. Yeah, he looks like he does that. Gym teacher, really? Man, I think it is a universal experience that the gym teacher also just takes photos for whatever institution it is that he's a part of. What surprises you? In the old albums, all the pictures are his work. He must have learned something during his time, right? Everything is how much? Well, since the camp was founded in 1975. 1975 is fucking young for a pioneer camp, Jesus. Imagine, I was just an infant and he was already taking pictures of the pioneers. Now while forcing them to make an extra 20 circles around the field for some kind of fault, of course. Here are the pictures he took this shift, Slavya said, taking out a thick pack of cards from the box. Uncle Bodhi is very greedy for such things. He thinks all the good moments should be captured. And since the album is not infinite, we have a very responsible task ahead of us. The album already said Sovyonak, second shift, 1989. Apparently someone already prepared the albums in advance. We have to choose what will go into the album and what will go into Uncle Bodhi's home archive. Do I actually have to choose? Because if so, don't trust me with that. Don't trust me with that. I don't know anything about that. The first 100 photos tied with rubber bands were related, funny but true, to the first 3 days. Check in. The pioneers were poured out of the bus, dressed for the time being, whoever's in what they want. The photos were in black and white, which only added to them some inexplicable warm charm. Here's Lena in a rather daring dress that reveals her upper back, stands holding a suitcase in front of her and blushes for the camera, and it looks both funny and cute. Here's Alisa and Uliana, laughing, pleased with something, giving each other a high five, a younger one in her usual t-shirt, and an older one in a separate sports uniform that she wore yesterday while exercising. But Slavya in a sarafan. Oh, what a beauty. Flatterer. No, really, very beautiful. What is that on the dress, by the way? If you don't skip the evening dances, you'll see it yourself, and I'll tell you. Got it. You better have it. That's number one. Number two, if it's anything pagan, the gameplay is over. I mean it. I shook my finger at her and went back to studying the photographs. And here's one, torn in half, but lovingly glued together with casing glue. Did I say Lena's dress was daring? Whew, how wrong I was. Photos of Miku. How did they even let her off the bus in this? What? Slavya looked over my shoulder, and for a moment I inhaled her breath, felt the warmth of her cheek next to mine. Ah, that scandalous dress. She got off the bus in a t-shirt and shorts like Uliana, the dress she wore to supper. You know what reaction was? I shook my head and put the photo back in future home archive. Although there was a terrible temptation to quietly and peacefully privatize the ownerless picture. Will you... I don't want to be like boys will be boys, but man, this kid is just never going to learn. Or if he's going to learn, it's going to take him a long, long time. I've got to be honest with myself. He's only been here 3 days. He doesn't know shit. He should, but he doesn't. So let's do it. Tell her Tyrannosaurus Rex flew past the window while she was looking away, hide it under the belt. Out of 30 shots on the first day, the High Court in the person of me and Slavya recognized only 6 as suitable, which the goaler immediately fixed in the album. The work was not very hard, and it turned out to be easier than it seemed at first glance. It was enough to sift out the photos that did not have cropped faces, backs, grimaces, and put the photos suitable for the album next to Slavya. So it was not surprising that after half an hour of such mechanical work, I got a little bored. And quite logically decided to brighten up the time with a conversation. Slavya, can you tell me something about yourself? Meaning? Meaning? I felt myself blush. I hate to be in this situation when a girl does not understand you. Girl you like. Yesterday's heavy boot wasn't enough, apparently. Remember yesterday when we were talking about what it's like to be a squad leader's assistant? I clarified. Meaning? She frowned. I'm not against it, but I'm not going to tell you my whole life. I don't think that's such a bad idea, I chuckled. But we really don't have that much time, if only by the fire or in the evening with a guitar. By the way, the day after tomorrow there'll be an evening bonfire. There's everything. Everything's happening this week, by the way. Oh, one more thing I always expect from camp. But we kind of drifted off topic very smoothly. I shook my finger at her. It's very Gorbachev style. Let's do this. What you think is necessary to say, imagine that we're completely unfamiliar, especially since this is true. And you need to tell me the most necessary about yourself. Imagine a big room. I looked around the head's office. There's a table in the middle. And 2 chairs on either side of it. Except for the head's chair, there were 2 chairs on either side of the table. We'd never seen each other before. We didn't even know we existed. And... oh. Sorting the photos of the second day of the session, publicly recognized the day of turmoil, she sighed. Okay, let's try it. Hi, my name is... Discreetly creaked the record key and placed Walkman between us so that not a single word is lost. Slavyana, but you can call me Slavya? Oh, never mind. I'm from the district center, located nearby. She's not a country bumpkin. This is interesting. I ended up in the camp when there was a distribution of vouchers between teachers. One went to my father. Again, you know, sort of similar yet different, you know. Parents got a voucher from work. It's a whole thing. Slavya's voice was like a lullaby. Slavya's voice was like a lullaby. It was so even and pure, not a single aggressive note or even unevenness or insincerity. This is not my first time here. This year I wanted to bring one of my younger brothers, but Dad decided to give the second ticket to Lena's father, so she's also here. Not the first time either. One of? And there are 7 of us, like in a fairy tale. I'm exactly in the middle, the 4th. Although in the family I'm constantly playing the role of the second mother. I'm not gonna... what am I gonna say about that? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to say nothing on the matter. I respect myself. After moving... After moving to the city, she began to give lessons at preparatory courses for children of 5 or 6 years old, helping them get used to school, so she comes home late at 8 o'clock. You know, by that time you have to feed everyone. I've never been spoiled by attention. That is, when there are 9 people at home. It's never lonely, of course, but mom just wasn't enough for all of us. So I was looking for myself. First in studies, then in social activities, and then some family life. And now? I'm surprised you left your extended family to your parents. Don't slander them. They're good, and they're on vacation. So my brothers will be taken care of. And I'm taking care of the whole camp. It's like something alive, you know? Her eyes sparkled. Seems that for a long time there was no understanding listener. Especially on a topic about which she, it turns out, was ready to rant about for a long time, without repeating herself and not getting lost in particulars. I almost did not listen to what Slavya says. We'll listen to the recording again if necessary. You better, man, this is important. I listened more to the sound of the voice, looking at how she behaves. For a while it seemed to me that she was with me all so sweet, beautiful, good, because she needed something from me. The ugly duckling complex. I could not put it better myself, Semyon. Thank you for saying that. A little later, albeit with her most active help, I survived this complex. Glory! Socialism! We have overcome the prejudices of old and have walked into our very first revolutionary age, of many more to come. But the first step is always the widest. But in that case, the question of her kindness remained open. Her eyes are full of sympathy and adoration, but not because I'm here. Don't sell yourself short, but because I'm also part of the world around me. That's all. That's what has been spinning in my head all this time has finally formed into a final thesis. I'm going to listen to your thesis, and depending on what I think of it, I will yell at you for the next 15 minutes, or I will clap politely at what you've learned. It's just that she has an emotional threshold 5 times higher than mine. Where it has a neutral mark, I've been jumping for joy for a long time. Where she walks and smiles at people, I usually walk around with an unsociable face and look at everyone as if they were nothing. I once again realize the depth of the abyss that separates me from these girls. Categorically, you're correct. You did all the correct calculations and yet somehow came to the completely incorrect conclusion. I'm not sure how you did that, Semyon. I don't know if I should be impressed or worried for you. Probably worried. But you'll learn. You'll learn in due time. And you're 24. You should know this bullshit. 20-something. Older than the squad leader. But you'll learn. I will make it my duty that you learn. That's not what you should be thinking. Yes, that is. I took her friendliness as something personal, and she spews it like caviar. No, it's not. You need to think about how you can completely turn her friendliness on yourself. Exactly. Propose to her. Come on, will you forsake the whole camp and babysit me alone? Slavya cut herself off in mid-sentence. Again, huh? What? You promised you wouldn't shut in yourself anymore. I promised to try. I cracked up. I tried it. It didn't work out very well. Well, work harder, damn it. Can you tell me what's wrong? Yeah, give me a second. I'll tell you everything. Semyon. Syom. Damn. Pet name. Hello. She put down a stack of photos from the day of Neptune and caught me by the shoulder. Well, please. Tell me what's the matter. You matter. You got too close. Her voice was unusually low and velvety, or what? Syom? Syomushka! No, you can't do that to him. You cannot do that to him. Listen, we're I appreciate the method, but it does not work like that. It does not work like that. There is no amount of Syomushkas that is going to fix what is going on. He needs more labor. This kid needs to toil. You cannot hit him with the Syomushka. You cannot do that to him. My poor man. He's a piece of garbage, but he's my piece of garbage, and it's my responsibility to turn him to recycle him into something useful. You cannot Syomushka him. You cannot Syomushka him. You cannot let the boy... You don't get soft on the boy. Don't get soft on the boy. He does not deserve it. He has not earned it. She tilted her head to the side. Please. Oh, who would have known how embarrassed I felt right now. You do not treat the boy with that sort of kindness. He has not earned it. And it seems that I shouldn't speak. I just forgot how I allowed myself to blurt out too much yesterday, and it's impossible to be silent. I wouldn't leave. I'd sit and rub the rim of the glass or the ring, and looked at the neck, collarbone, throat, shirt collar, but not in the face. Memory, what are you doing to me? Nothing. I couldn't look her in the eyes. Semyon. To complete the picture, it was not enough for her to crawl up to me and start tickling. And then only to ventilate oneself through the window, choking on caustic hatred, breaking with rings against the dirty glass, on the other side of which there was a man with the bright eyes of a dreamer. Because I cannot. Nothing. I really want her to adore me, pamper me, and take care of me. But you need to learn to grow up. You need to learn to grow up. You need to learn social equality. That you are both the same. She can help you, but she can't pamper you. I won't let her do that. I won't let you think that. I will... I will move heaven and earth for you, for these two. But I will not allow them to get complacent. That is how you get state capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. Because I dare not. And in my sycophancy, I've completely forgotten to listen to whatever he said. I don't know what he said. I don't know whether what he said was good or bad. I'm just going to assume it's bad, because 90% of the shit that comes out his mouth is bad. But yeah, I exhaled convulsively and ran out the office. Boy, did I call it or what? Boy, did I call it or what? I jumped outside. It was unbearably cutting to stay in the room where my mute cry for help hung like a transparent smoke. Will you stop running away from salvation, Semyon? Will you stop? The Communist Party is merely trying to help you. Why do you run away from your savior? Well, the worst thing was that she heard this scream and understood why it sounds. Slavya shouted something from the window, but I no longer paid attention to it, because you never pay attention, Semyon. Because you need labor. I knew perfectly well how it all would end. And I knew too. I knew too. I knew too. All along I knew. Diligently strangled unnecessary emotions in myself, but it did not work while she was around. I needed vodka to the point of nausea and loneliness, to the howl of a wolf. Slavya, you need to understand. I don't know why I'm speaking to her directly. Slavya needs to understand that this man needs to be fucking shaken. You need to grab him. You need to grab him by his bits and tell him, motherfucker, make yourself right. Sort it out. Get it together. That is the only way this man will grow. There is no amount of syomushkas that will aid him. No syom, no syomushka, no please. Not even tickling. Because this man is vehemently against any form of affection. He sees it as countercultural and counter-revolutionary. But the truth is that the revolution lies within giving him a good fucking slap to the face and telling him, man, you need to fucking get it the fuck together. You need to get it together, and you need to get it together quick if you want this to work. Which I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure you even want this to work. What do you want? What does this man want? I don't know. I don't understand him anymore. I don't know who does, frankly. I really don't. Otherwise, I'll fall upon her with all my weight, with all my far-fetched problems, incomprehensible demands, and ruthless expectations of a miracle. Then again, that is also complacency, and it is something that he is trying to avoid. I can praise him for that. I can praise him for not wanting to be, you know, the kind of guy that wants his girlfriend to be his mother. Is it conceivable that a person takes up so much space in one's head? On the third day of acquaintance. Well, you're learning, she's learning, we're all learning. Well, no, hold on, now I'm giving you too much credit. You're not learning per se. You're definitely being taught. Whether you're learning is a completely different, extraneous experience. But you are being taught. Is it conceivable that an adult long over 25 behaved like a hysterical fool? Both yes and no. Both yes and no at the same time. Can I believe he would do that? No. Can I believe he would do that? Yes. What's wrong with me? That is a great question, Semyon. I'm sure we've all been wondering that throughout this entire gameplay. We have all been wondering what is wrong with you. Nothing. And there barges in the roll, and there barges in the voice to, you know, the cherry on top of the shit cake, you could call it. Because this voice doesn't do him any favors. It only feeds into his complacency. It feeds into his either infatuation with Slavya, either that, or his incredible and extreme sycophancy, or his aversal to anybody that might show him kindness because they might be using him. These are all three things that he has not gotten over, and he has not gotten over them thanks in large part to this fucking character, ... right here. This ellipses. They are my mortal enemy. When I say I hate Semyon, I lie. I was wrong. I'm sorry for saying I hate Semyon in the last couple of episodes, because I was wrong. I don't hate Semyon. I hate whatever this fucking thing is. I hate his subconscious. I hate these three goddamn dots with a fiery passion I could not write hundreds of theses over. Bottle on the freeway? Is it scary to admit to yourself that your young body controls your wise mind? Is it scary to understand that you yourself could not have gone far from him in development, from your body? So roll. Clog your head with sunflower husks. Hide somewhere under a bench. Do you have a place in mind where you can hide from yourself? And then it acts like it is correct all along. It acts like what it created, it wants to fix. This voice is creating a problem and selling Semyon the solution. Except it's not selling it for money. It's selling it for friendship. It is selling it for, I'd argue, love. He is selling his love at the price which this most capitalist subconscious of him decides is fair, which it is never fair. It is never fair. Because it's capitalist, it's imperialist. It is a Western mindset. But what should I do? A horn sounded from the direction of the dining room. 5:30 in the evening. What to do? Go on duty. It's time for dinner. For once in this gameplay, I just really want Slavya to think for a hot minute and to not let him run away from this anymore. I cannot afford to see this bullshit anymore. I cannot afford it. The dinner passed in a blur. I kept silent, never sat down at the table, constantly on my feet, on the run, feeling an inquiring, probing look on me, and constantly tripping over it. So when the dinner was over, I breathed a sigh of relief. I used to close all the windows and doors, thanks to the SIM cards out of my cell phone, turn off the internet and the electricity, and sit in the dusty twilight, pumping myself full of wormwood tincture until my face began to take on the same soft salilate color. In my day, I had tried to get outside sometimes, and each trip could put me in the mood for a month. I literally reveled in the good mood. Paradox. Things are bad at home, my paycheck is barely enough to pay the utilities, and I'm happy. I had nothing, and I didn't need anything. A couple of hundred for public transport, a pack of cigarettes, and a cheese puff at the supermarket. But time passed. I was aging alive, looking for reasons not to be with people, and not to do anything at all. Even more, I stopped doing self-development. This is some great introspection you're doing, Semyon, but it is going to change absolutely nothing if that fucking voice does not get the hell out of my sight. I was once so warmed by the idea of becoming smarter than yesterday, stronger, more logical, more interesting every day. To write a text and then 6 months later read it, be horrified, and rewrite it in a way that takes your breath away. An incentive to prove something, first of all, to myself. Sunk into oblivion like everything that was before. And it's not about some great misfortune. Just one day, as if the clockwork toy ran out of wind, the spring got tired and the wheels refused to roll further through life. I don't know. Maybe if I'd once met a girl like Slavya along the way, I'd still be rushing over the pavement at the speed that only a cloudless mood and a well-laced shoes can give. And would you look at that, buddy? You're 18, you're in a pioneer camp, and you've got your life ahead of you. What do you think that means? What do you think fate is trying to tell you with this? Spin those gears. Think, Semyon, think. Are you hiding from Fyoktistova? Is this gonna be of any help? God, I hope so. You know what? At this point, I'm desperate. I'm desperate. You know what? I see it. I see it. Frankly, I don't see how Alisa could not elucidate this man. If Slavya can't do it on her own, she's a bit too complacent. You can't praise God as much as you love him. He has his faults. And so does Slavya. Perhaps the universal truth is that he just needs someone who isn't as much of a pushover, and I'm really sorry to say that, as Slavya. Somebody's got to knock sense into him, and if it's not going to be Slavya, then hell, why wouldn't it be Alisa? Why wouldn't it be? There was a mocking voice from behind. I shuddered. How did you know? And you know what? That's been 30 minutes. I am ready for her to slap him back, front hand, backhand, and all the possible different ways that could possibly exist to slap somebody. I am ready for that. Next episode. And so thank you, folks, for watching today's episode of 7 Days of Summer Lost Alpha. And I'll see you in the next one, where hopefully Semyon gets a freaking clue for once.